I plus Key, your favorite worker. Welcome back. I am here to encourage you to pursue the smile through prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education as well. We're wrapping up the day here, and why not go live and do a quick little Bible study? So we are in Joshua 18, verse 11. We've been talking about how Joshua led Israel to pursue and then conquer the Canaanites, and all of this drama unfolded. It was very, very exciting, and they managed to do it through the Lord's guidance. And after that was achieved, they had to go divvy up the land. So there were 12 tribes, and this tribe got this much, and this tribe got this much. Some got more than others, and some, like the Levites, got nothing at all. And so that's where we landed. That's where we are in Joshua. The point of studying Joshua right now is we're studying leadership with a biblical lens. So with that said, again, I'm 3+Kei, your favorite social worker. Hit that subscribe button now for more content, certainly. And let's get into it. I'll just say a quick prayer. Lord, thank you for bringing us together. I know it's a little late in the evening that we're getting this time finally to come together to worship you and praise your name and study your word, Lord. Please reveal to us something that we can absorb ourselves in discernment and applicability to our own lives, so that we can better serve you, Lord, and serve others. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, so that's really where we are. Chapter 18, the book of Joshua, verse 11, the allotment for Benjamin is where we are at. And we have a little commentary for 11 through 20. So we can get to that in a second. Verse 11, chapter 18, the allotment for Benjamin. The first lot came up for the tribe of Benjamin according to its clans. Their allotted territory lay between the tribes of Judah and Joseph. On the north side, their boundary began at the Jordan, past the northern slope of Jericho, and headed west into the hill country, coming out at the wilderness of Beth Aven. From there, it crossed to the south slope of Luz, that is Bethel, and went down to Adaroth Ader and the hill south of Lower Beth Horon. From the hill facing Beth Horon on the south, the boundary turned south along the western side and came out at Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, a town of the people of Judah. This was the western side. The southern side began at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim on the west, and the boundary came out at the spring of the waters of Nephtoah. Verse 16. The boundary went down to the foot of the hill facing the valley of Ben Hinnom, north of the valley of Rephaim. It continued down to the Hinnom Valley along the southern slope of the Jebusite city, and so to En Rogel. The commentary. The valley of Ben Hinnom became associated with the worship of the Ammonite god Molech in Jeremiah's time. The terrible worship rites involved sacrificing children. Later, the valley was used for burning garbage and the corpses of criminals and animals. Thus, its name became a synonym for hell. And this is what they gave. This is what they gave the Benjamites. Okay. Carrying on, I suppose. Verse 17, it then curved north west to En-Shemesh, continued to Geliloth, which faces the pass of Adumim, and ran down to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. It continued to the northern slope of Beth Araba and on down into the Araba. It then went to the northern slope of Beth Hogla and came out at the north bay of the Dead Sea at the mouth of the Jordan in the south. This was the southern boundary. The Jordan formed the boundary on the eastern side. These were the boundaries that marked out the inheritance of the clans of Benjamin on all sides. Well, I'll tell you what, I will be. The commentary for chapter 18, verses 11 through 20. The tribe of Benjamin was given a narrow strip of land that served as a buffer zone between Judah and Ephraim, the two tribes that would later dominate the land. So the Benjamites were given a little piece of land. Who's that? Hey! Did my first day as a junior. Go on with your bad self. I'm going to get to the comments later, okay, aviationist? So the Benjamites were given a little piece of land between two major provinces that were given to Judah and Ephraim. I wonder what significance that might have moving forward. I don't know. Comment below if you happen to know. Carrying on for verse 21. Okay, here we go with the names. Just bear with me. Here we go with the names. Verse 21, Joshua. The tribe of Benjamin, according to its clans, had the following towns: Jericho, Beth Hogla, Emet Kaziz, Beth Araba, Zemaraim, Bethel, Avim, Para, Ophrah, Kepher Ammoni, Ophni, and Geba, 12 towns and their villages: Gibeon, Ramah, Beereth, Mizpah, Kephirah, Mozah, Rechem, Urpil, Taralah, Zelah, Haleph, the Jebusite city, that is Jerusalem, Gebiah, and Kiriath, 14 towns and their villages. This was the inheritance of Benjamin for its clans. We got there. We did a little bit of that. Okay, now we're going to go into chapter 19, Aviationist 101. Please, if you have a Bible, go on and grab it. We're in the book of Joshua. We're studying leadership, which is something you may find interesting because you're going places. Book of Joshua, chapter 19, verse 1. Allotment for Simeon. We're continuing on with the divisions of the Canaanite land. Verse 1. The second lot came out for the tribe of Simeon according to its clans. Their inheritance lay within the territory of Judah. It included Beersheba or Sheba, Moladah, Hazar Shual, Bala Ezem, Eltolad, Bethul, Hormeth, Ziklag, Beth Markabeth, Hazer Susa, Beth Labaoth, and Sharuhen, 13 towns and their villages. Ain, Rimmon, Ether, and Ashen, 4 towns and their villages, and all the villages around these towns as far as Baalath, Beer, Ramah, and the Negev. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the Simeonites, according to its clans. The inheritance of the Simeonites was taken from the share of Judah because Judah's portion was more than they needed. So the Simeonites received their inheritance within the territory of Judah. Now I'm going to stop here and say these are a lot of names, and the names are very confusing sometimes, right? I remember when I first started getting into the word, and I was frustrated with the details that the Lord provided in his instructions. and in his manual of like who he is, right? I was frustrated. I don't know what these words are, right? But the point is, in the detail, the Lord is very specific in how he wants you to navigate throughout this world. Whenever there is more and more detail, friend, don't be frustrated about it. Ask the question, why this much detail? Why the names of the specific towns in a whole region? It's like, I'm from the Chicago suburbs. There's so many. To this day, I moved away 20 years ago. To this day, people will be like, oh, I'm from this town right outside of Chicago, and I never heard about it because there's way too many. This right here is the equivalent of listing the suburbs of Chicago within the United States. So there's a reason why you're saying this. Okay. And I'm not saying I know the reason why, baby. I'm not saying I know the reason why. I'm just letting you know. I'm paying attention. You should pay attention too. But I don't know why. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Our ways are not his ways. Okay. Anyway, let's get serious. All right. Yes, aviationist. It is the book of Joshua, chapter 19. We're in verse 10. Allotment for Zebulun. The third lot came up for Zebulun. Did I say verse 10? Verse 10. The third lot came up for Zebulun according to its clans. Here we go. The boundary of their inheritance went as far as Sarid. Going west, it ran to Maralah, touched the Besheth, and extended to the ravine near Jokneam. It turned east from Sarid toward the sunrise. That's so pretty. Can you imagine giving somebody directions and instead of saying like east or west, you were like, you're going to turn toward the sunrise. That's goals in life. But I digress. It turned east from Sarid toward the sunrise to the territory of Kisloth Tabor and went on to Dabaroth and up to Japhia. Then it continued eastward to Gath Hefer and Kazin. It came out at Rimmon and turned toward Nea. There, the boundary went around on the north to Hanathan and ended at the valley of Iftah El. Included were Katah, Nahalo, Shimron, Idalah, and Bethlehem. Shout out, we know Bethlehem. That's one thing we do know. Okay. Come on, ye faithful. Okay. There were 12 towns and their villages. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of Zebulun according to its clans. Here we go. Next, allotment for Issachar. Verse 17. The fourth lot came out for Issachar according to its clans. Verse 18. Their territory included Jezreel. I know a girl named Jezreel. Verse 18. The territory included Jezreel, Kasulith, Shenem. Pause. The commentary on that. Shunem was one of the towns given to the tribe of Issachar. When King David was elderly and frail, a young woman from Shunem was brought to the king to take care of him. That's in 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 3. Later, Elisha stayed at the house of a wealthy woman and her husband who lived in Shunem. That's interesting. They would say a wealthy woman and her husband, not a wealthy couple, not a man and his wife. The detail right there, a wealthy woman and her husband. So sometimes you hear it, people will be like, the Bible is sexist and women were this and that in the Bible, subjugated to men. And you definitely hear that. And some may even use the word in our order within marriage to subjugate a woman, to their will. That does happen. That's called exploitation. But the way this is worded, a wealthy woman and her husband, earlier, I forgot where it was, men were always in charge up until a certain point, and you'll have to find it yourself because it misses me at this moment. The Lord at some point wanted to emphasize how women have the same value as men. The Lord made a point within Joshua to emphasize that. And I think that is excelente, gives this woman a lot of comfort, right? Not to say, I mean, I digress, but there still is a natural order within marriage, because folks out here doing the most. Y'all ain't married. I ain't listening to you. For what? You ain't my man. Hey, baby. Okay, here we go. That was verse 18. Verse 19, continuing on with the allotment. Hepharim, I'm just going to do 18. The territory included Ion, Jezreel, Kesulith, Shunem, Hephraim, Shion, Anahareth, Rabbath, Kishion, Ebez, Remeth, and Ganim, and Hada, and Beth Pazez. Verse 22, the boundary touched Tabor, Shahazuma, and Beth Shemesh, and ended at the Jordan. There were 16 towns and their villages. Commentary: Tabor is most likely Mount Tabor, a single round mountain that rises almost 1,900 feet from its base. Tabor served as an indisputable landmark at the border of three tribes: Zebulun, Naphtali, and Issachar. At this mountain, Deborah told Barak to call out 10,000 of his warriors. Do you think Barack Obama was named after this Barack? I wonder. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I'm just wondering. And then finally, verse 23, these towns and their villages were the inheritance of the tribe of Issachar, according to its clans. So there it is. We went from Joshua chapter 18, verse 11, all the way to Joshua chapter 19, verse 23. Now I know I'm gonna be honest. I like to sleep. I'm just keeping it real. And I know I moved the Bible study times from 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time to 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. But sometimes I'm just sleeping. And that's what it is. So that's how you get a Bible study at 7. But I kind of like this vibe of like, nah, one way or another, we gonna get this Bible study in, even if it's 7 o'clock and I'm in my little work get up. This is fly, huh? I call this granny swag because your granny's fly and I like it. But anyway, tomorrow, okay, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Please come vibe with me as we study the word, figure out what is it that the Lord means for us. Again, we're in the book of Joshua. We are studying leadership with a biblical lens. Everything we do should be biblical. Not for nothing, I just recorded a video about how if you're not honoring God and loving others, if you're not loving God and loving others, you are in fact a failure. I can imagine people are going to have big feelings about that, but it's true. If you don't love the Lord and love others, who cares what you have, right? I'm right? That makes you a failure. You're not living up. You're not winning, baby. Anyway, I gotta go. Who am I? I am 3+Kei. I'm your favorite social worker forever and always, baby. Encouraging you to pursue the smile. How do you do that, Kei? You prioritize first and foremost the Lord. Number 2, your own physical health. And number 3, persistent education. I need to learn how to play that ukulele. It's coming. I'm going to make a whole video about it, I'm sure. All right. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Run it up. Run it up. Like this video if you love it. Share this video with someone who you think could benefit from it. And like Aviationist 101, that is clearly winning in life. Aviationist posts a lot of good comments on my content regarding do that. You could do that too. Follow Aviationist 101. I don't know them yet, but they're trying to get it in with the Lord too. I appreciate that. And really good, solid commentary as well. Daily videos, finally, 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time every single day. And with that, baby, I will talk to you later. Don't forget to subscribe.